I did some driveway gardening this year, and I made me some hot sauce. Oh, I love hot sauce. I think I'm going to have some right now. Just look at that. Look at that. Whoa. Oh, that's hot. I think I'm going to have some more. Hi there. Neil here, the Twisted Light Worker. With all the changes that are happening on the planet, it's getting more and more evident that we need to look after ourselves and return to some of the early methods of food harvest and looking after ourselves in the communities in which we live in. We can turn a simple flower bed along a driveway into both beauty and food production. This year, I put down a whole bunch of hot pepper sauce. I'll get into that and talk about that a little bit near the end, but this gives you an idea where this video is going. I also did something really unique. Last year at Christmas time, I planted an apple seed out of an apple that I was eating, and it grew. I had actually 3 of them, and I took the best one and I took it out to the park, and I dug a hole and I kept the weeds down by laying the grass around it. Now that bottle is a 4-liter bottle, so that apple tree is about 14 inches tall, 12 to 14 inches tall, and that was taken in, I believe that was taken in July. So it's quite amazing if we all did something simple. Can you imagine what it would be like if everybody did that? Everybody just planted 1 tree a year? 7.5 billion people on the planet. If we all planted 1 tree a year, what a difference that would make. So I'm making that a project of mine. I'm doing that again this year. I'll be soon eating the apple. I'll be soon eating the apple. Driveway gardening is not all that difficult, and you can get food and beauty. This is a picture of the driveway taken in June. After I planted it, I have a row of, starting with the left side, I've got a row of marigolds, and then I have a row of kale, and then I have peppers, hot peppers, interlaced with cosmos flowers. And to the right of that, I have a row of beets, and to the right of that, I also have a row of marigolds. And last year, I grew a bunch of borage in amongst there, and they have a purple flower, and the bees love it. So the owner of the property wanted to take the borage plants and plant them at her daughter's backyard. So I left them growing, so you can hardly see that there's actually marigolds coming in there. But by the end video, you'll be able to see what it turned out like, because eventually I got rid of all of the borage that she never took away, and we took it from there. So this is June, and on the right hand picture there, you'll see the beets down by the left, or on the right hand on the bottom, and then you can see the peppers. There's a purple flower, cosmos, that's blooming, and you can see the kale in there. So there's a healthy food and color coming. And behind that, there's a little bit of borage, and behind that, there's tomatoes. And I had 4 tomato plants in there, and you can't see it in this photo, but I planted some popcorn too. And I did get some popcorn, and I'm looking forward to eating that when more of the shift hits the fan. When more of the shift hits the fan. In the middle of the summer, I did a video on corruption on the planet is just like pulling weeds. What we see, that once we see the corruption, we have to pull the weeds. It's just like a garden. Once we see the weeds in the garden, we have to pull them. So once we see the corruption on the planet, we have to get rid of it. And I didn't have any pictures of the garden in August that I wanted to share today, because I didn't know I was at the time that I was even going to make this video. So here's the introduction to that other video that I did on pulling weeds, and you'll be able to see the cosmos blooming, the marigolds blooming, and the peppers are at that stage where they're producing. So enjoy the laugh.
You know what? Pulling the corruption on the planet, getting rid of all of the bad guys, is the same thing as pulling weeds in the garden. We have to pull them. We can't just look at them. If we want to reap the harvest.
I hope you enjoyed that laugh, but as you can see here, standing there in my twisted light worker blue jean tuxedo, snow shovel in hand, but you'll see the cosmos that are blooming on the left, and you'll see the cosmos blooming on the right, and the marigolds coming up that were behind the borage that I just showed you. And that's what it looked like in early August. That was very early August. So what does it look like now? What does it look like now? Well, here is a number of clips from the flower bed right here, right now, early October. So this is a late fall picture of my flower bed gardening done along a driveway. You see the flowers go all the way up this side, and there we have hot peppers, habanero peppers, growing in amongst with a row of beets in behind all the flowers. The beets won't amount to much because there's just not quite enough room for them, but it gives you an idea. This was really beautiful mid-spring in the beginning, as well as now in the fall. Different things were blooming. The cosmos were blooming in the middle of the summer. So this is the other side of the garden, and you see the beautiful flowers all the way along the edge, and if you look close, kale. Kale's growing in there. I did have some parsley in there as well. It's hard to find the parsley because it never took off as much. It was a little bit behind when I planted it, but there is parsley in there. I'll get a little parsley, but lots of kale, and I've had lots of peppers. Lots of peppers. Made a lot of hot sauce, as you've seen. And some tomatoes in the back. I didn't water them in June because I was living in my truck at the time. Have to check out my video on that. And popcorn in the corner. So you can see, it's quite easy to have flower bed gardening and put some food in the stomach as well. So that's how the driveway gardening can actually look. Beautiful, as well as get some food. So let's get into the production. What have we got here? That's a 4-liter jar of peppers that is fermenting on the right hand side, the big pickle jar. On the very right hand side, that's a jug that looks like orange juice, but I use that orange juice container to keep the fermenting water. So the water from a previous batch of hot peppers is in that jug. And I have 7, I think there's 7 or 8 26-ounce, 750 milliliter bottles, booze bottles, filled with hot sauce. Filled with hot sauce. On the left hand side, you'll see some kale in the background, and soup that I put down already. I took the kale and with tomatoes and pureed the tomatoes and made myself a bunch of soup base. Last year I had 48 jars. I didn't use them all, so I'm just topping it up this year and getting back to the jars like I had last year. There's a little bit of a closer view of the kale you can see on the left hand side, and the fermenting taking place in the 4-liter jar. It's absolutely a lot of fun, and believe me, the flavor of that hot sauce is astounding. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. And you see me from my computer often in all my videos, so I thought I'd just show you another view of my pad. I call this my launching pad. Tiny little pad that I had to move into on, I guess it was 1st of July, because the month of June I was living in my truck, because the way the world is moving right now, my landlady booted me out because she wanted to turn her place into an Airbnb, and there was no places for rent, and I was current with rent, and I did a whole bunch of landscaping and drywalling and painting and improvements to her property. But none of that mattered. So I'll put that link down below too, because I use common law, and it's a part of the times. There's an awful lot of people who are finding themselves homeless, so it's worthwhile to check that video out as well. But as you can see, you can really do some amazing things with just a small space. It's not very big flower bed, and I've got some soup base. I've enjoyed eating kale all summer. I've enjoyed eating some beets, some beet tops. There's some more beets yet to be pulled. And I've got all those bottles of the hot sauce, and I got my popcorn too. What a hoot. Never grew popcorn. We never grew popcorn much in this area, so it was exciting to do that. And I got a couple cobs, so I'm looking forward to having events take place where I have a reason to pop those ones, because I'm saving those ones for the special time. Squirt, squirt, squirt. And if you watch any of my other videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I encourage you to do that. Rather quick video, but I hope that you enjoyed it. And I've got my supper ready right now to put on the stove, and believe me, I'm going to be putting some of my hot sauce on top of the burgers when they're cooked. They're delicious. Delicious. And that hot sauce will bring the sweat right out. Because some of them that I added some Scotch bonnet to, I really enjoy those, and those make you sweat. They don't burn the mouth that much for me, but everybody has a different ability to handle heat coming from spices. And I can take quite a bit, but I couldn't eat a habanero pepper raw. I couldn't do it. It's just a little bit too hot. But at the same time, I can put lots of it on something else and enjoy it. So hopefully you learned how easy it is to turn a flower bed along a driveway into beauty and food. And believe me, it's fun and tasty. So I'll leave you with that and a final wish. Oh, I'll leave you with that and a thank you for the people who've bought me coffees. I almost forgot. Very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Buy me a coffee link is in the description below. So, hot sauce to you, and peace profound. I'm wishing you peace profound.